And so the title of my talk today, I hope I do this right, Shifting Paradigms. See, Tiffany, it's kind of like your t-shirt. The title of my talk today is Shifting Paradigms. As I said earlier today, the last 24 hours for me have been, less than 24 hours, have been very interesting, and having to really dig deep to remind myself what it is that I am here to do. I can't say that I am a doctor of consciousness studies, that I am a minister of New Thought, that I am a practitioner of religious science. I can't say that and be blaming or hating or othering people. I can't do that. And I have to remind myself that every single person, every single thing, everything is in this unified field of love. It's in the spirit of all possibility. And so when I came up with this title, which was perfect for me again, everything is perfect right now, Shifting Paradigms, I decided to really kind of go deep on what paradigms are. And I before that, I want to tell you guys a quick story. And what's really gotten to me, and I'm still sort of wearing it in my heart and my sleeve, and I want to be transparent about that. Last night, I went on a walk with my son. And to hear his concerns about the world, and to hear what world we're bequeathing our children and our next generation, and to know the worries that they have, to hear that, from the mouths of babes that they say, was really hard for me, because I wanted to bring him up. I wanted to lift him up. And what he reminded me so eloquently and so beautifully was, I need to have my process, Mom. I'll get there, but I need to have my process. And I think we all have that within ourselves, and which is why when Dr. James is up here on Sundays and he talks about, we're not a woo-woo, we're not a woo-woo religion. We're not a woo-woo philosophy that just, let's look away from the conditions, which just basically means let's not give it more energy or heat, but recognize that it's there. So when my son said, I need my process, I need to process it this way, I stood back for a second and allowed for that to happen in conversation, but not in anger, not in othering, not in making someone right or wrong, but to really understand the emotions that are coming up for him. And in the same token, the emotions that are coming up for myself. And reminding myself of where it is that I stand, and being okay with the emotions that come up, and also treating for what is coming up. This past Wednesday, as I mentioned, we had a beautiful workshop for our core practitioners on treatment and what it means to be a practitioner. What I got out of it was a recognition of what it is that I'm here to do, because even as doctors and as ministers, we always say we're practitioners first. And what does that mean to be a practitioner in religious science and in New Thought? What does that mean? To be a practitioner is that you have chosen, that each one has chosen through hours of studies and hours of work, has chosen to say, yes, when I have to actually be in that God consciousness, in that Christ consciousness, in that knowing of knowing who I am and remembering who I am, I will be in that space. That's what each and every one of us that are practitioners that holds those licenses have dedicated ourselves to do. I needed that reminder, by the way. There's no way in that moment that I did not need to remember that I am a practitioner first, and that I am practicing what I am learning. And as Julio said, it is a constant evolution. Right now we're in advanced consciousness studies, and we're learning so much more about not just the spirituality portion of it, but also the quantum physics and the science of it, which are essentially saying the same thing. So basically you can say the field of all possibility, or you can say God, or you can say the universe, or you can say love. But we are all talking about the same thing. We're talking about an energy that is greater than that which I am right now, and yet I am that energy too, right? And when I recognize and know and I remember who I am, I can up-level not only my consciousness, but I know that I can do that for each and every person. So as I'm walking with my son and talking to my son and listening to what he's having to say with what's happening in his world, I can say in this lifted consciousness and allow him the space to process as he must, while I stay in that higher space to lift him up. Now, I can't say for sure that I did that for him, but certainly there was a lot of conversation. And I know that there was a movement of energy, which is what we talk about doing, right? In consciousness, and when we are treating, when we are doing affirmative prayers. What is that? And by rote, we say it's a movement of energy for a specific purpose. And I think we're just used to saying it now. But I think when we stop, like I did this past Wednesday, when we were talking about what treatment, what affirmative prayer is, I stopped for that moment to go, what do I believe about affirmative prayer? And what do I believe my role is in affirming not only for myself, but for other people? Especially with what we're doing right now, it is so important that we remember, while we can manifest for ourselves, while we can create amazing worlds for ourselves, we have a duty to do that for those around us as well. As a mother, I have a duty to do that with my children. Don't talk, I know what you're gonna say, that she doesn't do it well all the time. And I know I don't, but I try. I do try. And I'm getting better. Nothing like your children to remind you. Every now and then my daughter's like, I thought you said you were a minister. Weren't you a doctor of consciousness studies? Like, oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I'm back. And I'm back. So it's my job to know that I can affect that change. I don't always have to know at what level I'm going to change somebody, but I know that I can, and I know that I will, because we are in this unified field. There is just one thing happening, expressed in so many ways, in so many beautiful ways, in so many wonderful ways, in so many inspiring ways. And so it's my job to bring that forth as much as I can. And maybe whatever nugget my son has received from that conversation, he goes and takes to somebody else and then flourishes from there. That's always my hope. It used to be like, you got to change, come up here. And I realized that that's not really being in treatment, is it? That's not affirming anything. That's wanting something to happen my way. I do that more often than not. But I am truly coming back to who I am, remembering who I am more often than not. Remembering that my energy, my spirit, my soul is here, not only to manifest a beautiful life that I want, and I want more. I want to manifest more. I want to travel. I want to be able to do all kinds of things, and I want to inspire others and be inspired by others. Like I said earlier on, you may be inspired by what I say, or you may not. It may be Mindy and Carol singing or Robbie and the band playing that inspires you. It doesn't matter what it is, but you come here to get that for yourself, or else you wouldn't be sitting here, or you wouldn't be tuned in. It's exactly what you come here. And I want you to recognize that for yourself. Not because you have to recognize what I've said or what someone's saying or whatever, but you have to recognize for yourself that you are no longer the same person that you are when you walked into these doors every Sunday. Whether it's Tiffany speaking or Dr. James or Eric or anybody that's up here, Karen, Kirby, anybody that's up here, we are moving energy, whether in treatment, whether in affirming, whether in speaking, whether in laughing, or whether just in sharing. So my talk today, shifting paradigms, I mean that each one of us has to shift not only our own personal paradigms, but we have to choose to change the paradigm of society that is out there right now. Because here we're great, right? We all kind of believe the same thing in the sense that we believe in love, and we believe that, right? We can stay in this space. Wow, that'd be amazing. And the truth is we have to be out there spreading more of this love, spreading more of this peace, spreading more of this harmony, spreading more of this joy, like Scott coming up here and playing and singing, and you feel that in your body. You also have to be in charge of that for yourself. What is it that moves your energy? What are the things that uplift you? Amy, I know you love to dance, and that I know is treatment. And so what are those things that you do to find treatment within yourself? I ask that. Shifting paradigms. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a model, pattern, or framework that shapes how something is understood or approached. It can refer to a worldview, a scientific theory, or a set of beliefs that guide thinking and behavior. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was at the end of May, Dr. James was up here talking about patterns, right? About what are your patterns? Shift your patterns. Because beliefs, yes, there are some core beliefs that maybe we need to get rid of. But our paradigms, our patterns, those are things that are building upon each other. They're like Legos that stack upon each other, that belief, and now you've created a paradigm by which you live under. So shifting those paradigms, recognizing those paradigms that you have, and shifting those. But first recognizing them, knowing that it's not just one belief. It's probably a stack of beliefs. When you have something at your core that needs shifting, it's probably not just a belief. It's probably an entire paradigm or a pattern, as Dr. James said a couple of weeks ago. So what's the difference between a pattern? What's the difference between a paradigm? Oh, wrong slide. What's the difference between paradigm and beliefs? Beliefs are individual convictions or assumptions that we hold true. Paradigms is a broader framework or system of beliefs. It's a mental model. It is the lens through which we interpret everything. So this is the important part. It is the lens by which we interpret everything. So as they say, things just are. It's our paradigm which interprets how things really are, whether they're good, they're bad, they're ugly, they're beautiful, whatever it is. It's based on what our paradigm is. And so when I looked up what are the core elements of a paradigm, 4 things showed up. Core assumptions of ourselves, of the world, emotional anchors, how you feel about a certain experience that anchors your psyche. So I think this is what we talk about a lot in religious science, in New Thought. We talk about our emotions and how they anchor us into a certain experience. Whatever it is that we've experienced, if we have a strong emotion about it, we've now built a belief. And sometimes that's great. I learned early on that I like to have fun. So I have a lot of fun. I'm fun. You stick me in a shoebox, I will find a way to have fun. That is a belief I love about myself. I'm not going to share the ones that I don't love about myself because there are those too, and I recognize them. And those are the ones that I unpack to reframe and redo and reorganize. Another element is cognitive filters, that our brain then takes the interpretations and collects information. As Dr. Lori often says, is we are meaning-making machines that are constantly collecting evidence for what it is that we believe. So all we're doing is collecting evidence for whatever that belief or that paradigm is. So I say all these things because I want you to recognize that. Recognize that within yourself. Because right now, more than ever, what we need is an elevated consciousness. So if there is something in your life that needs changing, needs shifting, let's do it. Because we all need to be in charge of what's happening out in the world. Not just our immediate world, not just this world, not our societal world, but the world at large. And the last thing that is a key element is cultural and social conditioning. And now I think this to me is very important because I don't think we realize how much our society, our world around us contributes to what it is that we believe, right? And you may say, no, that's not me anymore. That was a while. But let me ask you a question. Finish the sentence for me. Money doesn't grow on trees. There you go. You can't teach an old dog. Okay, I mean, we all, right? Yeah. Okay, do this with me. See this? Put these 2 fingers together. All right? You got that? Put these 2 fingers together. All right. Put it on your forehead. Yeah. Some of you did actually put it on your forehead, but some of you didn't. Conditioning. We don't realize how we are conditioned from a very young age, on certain patterns and certain behaviors. And I know it sounds exhausting, like, oh my God, is this what I came here today to learn? Patterns, paradigms, and how to get rid of it? Oh, sounds exhausting. I wanted to be inspired. So did I. But truly, I say all these things as a learning tool for yourself. I think I am so charged right now with trying to up-level my own energy that I want to take everybody with me. And that means we have to excavate all the crap that's inside to move up. I mean, I look at my children, and with what we're going through and what I have to talk to them and how there is an element of anger for what they may be experiencing in the world for themselves, I want to make sure that I find a way to unpack where that's coming from so that I can help them uplift and so that they can do that for the kids around them, for the generation around them, for their friends. So that it's not that, it doesn't matter what side you're on. It really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, if you're meeting anger with anger, then what does it matter? It doesn't matter. My anger may be a different color than your anger. Who cares? It's still anger. And there's no moving the needle towards peace and love and harmony. None of that. Until we all get out of that low-hanging fruit of making people wrong and just say, fine, I'm here to love no matter what. I'm here to stand in love no matter what. Because I'm going to tell you something. I can remember who I am, and I can meet somebody down the road who does not remember who they are. And I don't want to be hijacked by someone who doesn't know who they are. I don't want their unknown energy to hijack mine when I know who I am. How sad is that? Who am I if I'm going to allow that? I need the strength to be who I am in the face of whatever. And so that's why we have each other, to remind ourselves, because sometimes it's really hard for me to do. So I call Tiffany, Dr. Tiffany, and say, hey, I need your help. I really do. And she does, always. So, paradigms. A belief paradigm. Your perception of what is possible is shaped by the beliefs you hold on, often unconsciously. So I'm going to tell you guys something. Thor and I are working on a very fun project, and we will tell you guys about it. On Monday, we got together, and there was a lot of creative juices flowing, and it was super awesome. Like, I felt so alive. Like, I felt this is so cool what we're out to do together. Like, yes. And then it was time to go, and I went to go wash my hands. And as I looked in the mirror and I'm washing my hands, the first thought that came up was, you're never going to do this. And it hit me in the heart. I felt it and I felt deflated. And by the way, all of that was probably in a matter of a second, a nanosecond. All of that. But I will tell you that the positive thing here for me is that I recognized that thought show up. I recognized how my body felt in it. And I recognized that I had a choice. Because I know that there is only possibility all the time, everywhere. So if I'm going to look in a mirror and tell myself, you're not going to do this, who am I to tell somebody else that they have possibilities? And so I stood there for that moment, recognizing everything that happened and went, yes, I am. Stand and watch me. And that's the attitude. Thank you. Yes. That's the attitude that we all need to have with ourselves, because there are those little things in there that are driving some weird force that are coming up, and we'll either hear it, feel it, or sense it around. Pay attention to those. Those are the paradigms that I'm asking you to shift. Those are the things that I'm asking you to shift. So while I could have been upset and I could have stayed deflated, I was grateful that that showed up. I was grateful to know that I had that inside me when I'm out for something, when I'm out to create something big, that there is that little grain of sand. But guess what? I have belief, at least the size of a mustard seed. So I know that I can move mountains. I know that. And I will not stop believing in what it is that I can do. I know that for sure. And I had to sit there and look at that face, which was my face, and remind myself that I am a bundle of possibility. I'm a bundle of energy. I'm a bundle of all that is, and there is nothing that can stop me. That was a paradigm that I had to look at straight smack in the face and say, we're not doing this anymore. And I'm not. I'm not doing it anymore. Thank you. Thank you. And I say that for all of you too. You know, James did say a couple weeks ago, 95% of the thoughts that we have, 95% of the beliefs that we have, 95% of our paradigms are constant. So look for those things that you can dig up to move out, to elevate your own energy. I'll leave you with this. Oh, yeah. Beliefs, well, yes. Hold on. I want to leave you guys with this Wallace Waddle quote. The only service you can render God is to give expression to what God is trying to give the world through you. I'll say it again. The only service you can render God, the universe, the field of pure potential, possibility, love, whatever you choose to say, the only service that you have to give is the expression to what God is trying to give the world through you. So open up, be awake, be focused, know what it is that is inside of you to give out to the world and shine it out. Shine it out. Do not stop believing that you can do this, because you can, you will, and you must. Not just for yourself, but for everyone around. Let's show them that we can level, even from here, we can up-level our own energy and up-level the energy all around us by shifting our very own paradigms in this moment now. Namaste.